When I was younger, I thought memory, sleep, and independence were just part of life. You know, something you're born with and you just have it. But now that I'm older, I see them as those precious gems that once you lose them, it's really hard to find them again. I remember my neighbor John in Boston. He was around 67 years old when his wife Mary passed away. And a few months after her passing, I noticed a change in him. I saw him struggling with remembering names, having restless nights and needing his daughter's help just to go to the grocery store. 1 year later, I saw a different man. He was taking steady steps, having sharp conversations, cooking meals for himself, tending to his garden and keeping his home in order. So I asked him, "What has changed?" And he shared with me, "A friend recommended some habits, and I stuck to them." He said it was 3 simple habits that helped him move better, sleep deeper, and remember more. And he allowed me to share these habits with you today. Habit number 1 is moving with memory. He told me, "I used to feel frustrated because I couldn't remember where certain things were or I couldn't recall names. And the doctor said there's nothing I can do about it. You're just getting older." But then one day he read an article which suggested doing something else while you're recalling something. For example, when you're brushing your teeth, try to recite a poem or say the alphabet backward. This is what scientists call dual task training. You're moving and asking your brain to remember at the same time, and by doing so, you're helping to create new connections and strengthening the existing ones. And guess what? It's kind of like exercising your brain. Just as you wouldn't expect to build muscle strength after one workout, you can't expect your memory to improve dramatically overnight. But with consistent effort, you can make significant progress. So habit number 1 is moving with memory. Spend a few minutes every day doing something that requires both movement and mental effort. Walk outdoors while telling yourself a story or reciting something. This is what John did every morning. He would walk for about 15 minutes, and he would either tell himself a story or he would list what he had to do that day. He said sometimes he would forget where he was going or what he was supposed to be doing. But that didn't bother him. He simply made a note of it and continued. He said it was worth it because as he kept doing it, he found himself remembering more, moving better, and feeling more confident. Habit number 2, a bedtime ritual for deep sleep. After reading that article, John also changed his bedtime routine. He said, "I used to scroll on my phone for hours before bed, but now I drink a cup of chamomile tea, dim the lights, and listen to some soft music. My body knows it's time to rest and my mind isn't racing anymore." Experts recommend establishing a consistent sleep schedule and practicing relaxation techniques before bed. This is what John did. He developed a calming routine that signals to his body it's time to wind down. This allows his body to produce the right amount of melatonin, which is a hormone that helps regulate sleep cycles. And by doing so, he's able to fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling more refreshed. Habit number 3 is keeping the hands busy. John started paying attention to what he ate, but he also began cooking his own meals. He started small, making 3 meals a week, and slowly he began tending to a small backyard garden. He said, "I remembered my grandmother's hands. They were strong and flexible, and she was 80 years young." Using the hands in precise ways doesn't just keep the joints flexible and the muscles strong, it also activates the parts of the brain that control movement and memory. This is what John did. He engaged in activities that required precise hand movements, such as cooking and gardening. These activities not only kept his hands nimble, but also stimulated his brain. So if you're over 65 or you love someone who is, encourage them to try these 3 habits. Sometimes what changes a life isn't a miracle or a single breakthrough, but the small things we choose to do every single day. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.